Hello and welcome to today's December 19th second stimulus check update and second stimulus package update. If you're a subscribed member of my community, then welcome back. And if you're not, consider subscribing right now. All right, hey, I just want to say quickly, thank you guys so much for all the thumbs up you give my videos. I appreciate that. It's a nice way to say thank you. So thank you so much. Now, my wife and I have noticed great need in our YouTube community for money help. That's one reason I continue to do these updates. But we've done 5 or 6 giveaways, and we're doing one right now. We're trying to help 20 families with $100. And so make sure to check out the Christmas Cash Contest right now. I will leave a link in the first comment below. This contest ends tomorrow at midnight so that I have enough time to get that money out to people before the holiday. At the end of this video, I want to ask my community a question about giveaways going into 2021. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into the update. Yesterday, Congress failed to pass a federal spending bill for the year 2021. To avoid shutdown, they've extended the federal spending for an additional 2 days, which means they now have just 2 days to get a stimulus bill passed as well as a federal spending bill passed. So these guys are really taking it right down to the last minute, aren't they? Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said Congress will stay in session and debate all weekend long, and that he and his side of the negotiating table are willing to stay until a deal is absolutely done. That's coming from Mitch McConnell. Bernie Sanders said that Mitch McConnell, although they rarely agree on how to run the country, did make the right decision in not sending the people home. Now, you'll remember back in October and September and also in August, we were told they would not go home, and then they did send them home. So at least this time, they did stay behind, and they are still working on this right now as I film this video. Now, Bernie Sanders said, rather than see the federal spending bill pass, that he wants to see it pass only if it includes stimulus checks. But it looks like whether it's a $600 stimulus check or a $1,200 stimulus check, he is going to vote and get this deal done. Now, he did say on the Senate floor that he would prefer it be a $1,200 stimulus check, but I believe based on lack of support, he is saying 600 is better than 0. Now, Bernie Sanders, senator from Vermont, he pointed out that we are in fact living in times as difficult as the Great Depression. He went on to cite that millions and millions of Americans are on the verge of homelessness because they are so far behind on rent. He pointed out that not since the Great Depression have we seen so many millions of Americans struggle to even afford food for their household. So he's saying these are things that we saw during the Great Depression, but because of holding off on evictions, we haven't seen millions and millions of evictions. And because people are spending money on food, they're just falling further and further behind. So he's saying without further stimulus, we actually are going to slip into something very close to the Great Depression if something is not done. Now, he ended his time on the Senate floor yesterday by saying, let's make sure we get some kind of payment for the American people. The fact that he didn't say $1,200 tells me that he is opening up to just having the $600 stimulus package. But he is saying that if it's a 0 stimulus check, then he will start making a big fuss again. So he is still fighting for the American people, but it looks like he is only fighting right now for anything's better than 0, which is unfortunate. Now, Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri did keep his promise and pushed for the $1,200 stimulus checks twice on the floor. Sadly, he has not been able to get enough support from Democrats or Republicans in order to advance the idea. Senator Chuck Schumer of New York did say that he was open to doing the $1,200 stimulus check. Also, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, as I mentioned yesterday, she has jumped on board. But unfortunately, with only 3 or 4 people backing him out of hundreds and hundreds of senators and House representatives, unfortunately, the idea is not getting enough support or traction in order to advance in the House of Representatives or the Senate. And this is why yesterday I tried to be upfront with my community. The realistic answer is we're probably going to see a stimulus check, but it is probably going to only be $600. Okay, so as of right now, the next vote on the federal spending bill and the stimulus package is scheduled for tomorrow, Sunday the 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If something good comes of that, I will come on and do a video. Otherwise, I won't come back on until Monday to let you know what is going on. But that is when the next vote is scheduled to happen. Now, believe it or not, the biggest hangup right now is actually not stimulus checks. Like I said, I think that our community needs to be realistic that it's most likely going to be $600 checks and not $1,200 checks. But the biggest hangup is actually Democrats have come out and said that they are now angry with Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin for closing down the federal spending programs with the Federal Reserve. Really? This is your hang-up? If he didn't close down these programs, we wouldn't even have the $500 billion that they're trying to roll into this next stimulus package. So I'm not sure why they're upset that he closed down those 5 programs and pulled back nearly $500 billion. From what I'm reading, those programs that had $500 billion sitting idle, only about 2% of that money was ever used. So these are not popular programs. These are not well-used programs. These are not high-demand programs. So why are you holding up a stimulus package and a stimulus check over programs that never got used? It doesn't make any sense to me. So right now, that is what's holding up the stimulus package. They've decided, hey, the $160 billion for state and local government, we'll come back to that in the new year. But now this is what is going on. Tell me in the comments, you guys, does it seem like anybody really wants to do a deal? Or do they just find a new way to delay every day that they're supposed to be working for you and for me? Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, this is not to say that Republicans have been saints or acted perfectly. There are many Republicans from states with low unemployment that simply don't want to do a large stimulus package because they've reopened and their unemployment is below 7%. They're saying we don't need to do a big package to bail out states that refuse to reopen. And so it appears that both parties have dug in and just are trying to delay doing any kind of stimulus package, which is so frustrating. I personally think it's disgraceful. These are not stimulus checks at this point. For many people, these are survival checks. These are just get me a little bit caught up checks. The government has essentially killed hundreds of thousands of businesses across the United States. And those businesses employed millions of American workers that are now on unemployment and can't find work or are going to be forced into a new industry in order to start providing for themselves and their families again. So I think if they're going to continue these crazy lockdowns, then they need to either support us or get out of the way. I mean, it's just crazy. They're literally killing the country by their inaction. And I think it's disgraceful. So as of right now, it does look like a stimulus package with stimulus checks will pass before Christmas, but I don't see how they're going to get those checks out before Christmas. And again, this is just me being realistic with my community. It does look like there's going to be some extended protection for eviction and those that are behind on rent. It does look as if there's going to be money to help schools reopen so that kids can start learning in person and those depression levels in children can come down. Did you know children have never been more depressed than they are right now? That needs to be resolved and very, very quickly. This is my update for today. As I know more, I will share more. Again, the next vote is scheduled for 1 p.m. tomorrow. If something big comes up, I will get back on to let my community know. But otherwise, this is my update for today. Now, before you go, make sure to check out that Christmas Cash Contest giveaway. And I wanted to ask my community, have you guys liked these giveaways? Have you felt like they were helpful? I know the people that have won have been felt that they were helpful. But let me know. I'm trying to make some decisions for 2021. Do I continue to do these and help out, or are they just kind of a waste of money and time? I'd like to continue to do cash and hoodies and maybe throw in some laptops or phones or something cool. But let me know in the comments what you think about these giveaways. As I wrap up, I just want to remind you that you are amazing. Never link your self-esteem to the federal government. Otherwise, you'll always be sad and depressed. You're amazing. Don't forget it. I appreciate you being in my community, and I'll update you as I know more, and I'll see you on the next video.